Last lecture we had discussed how the writer had bought a land and he enjoyed being a farmer, how he just took some moong and then he planted that moong in his particular. So the writer was a happy person now because his very first yield, his very first attempt as a farmer was very fruitful. Many of the people, especially this Moru Dada, who had brought him the land, he was a local person who helped him a lot, and he was the one who advised him. So Moru Dada was actually that particular person, that particular broker who brought him the land, and Moru Dada was the one who advised him to uh, take the seeds of moong, and because it was the season of moong, so he had to listen to him, and he took some moong, he planted them, and he got a very high yield. Moru Dada has also advised him to use fertilizers, which he was contrary about the thoughts, and he said that I wouldn't use it. Instead of that, let us see if I can do organic type of farming, and he was successful in this, where he earned a respectable 300 kilograms, and he was a very happy person. Now we'll start with the second part, which is the beginning of the chapter, that is the scent of rice. The first year I was late for the rice sowing season and had to resort to growing the GR4 variety, which is a type of variety of rice of the hybrid quality, was short term and recommended by the agriculture officers at Koswal. So a particular, as there is a particular season where people used to what do you say, so different types of crops. These are the seasonal crops. So the writer, our author, was late for this particular rice sowing season, and he had to plant a different type of variable about it. So this particular recommendation was given by the agricultural office of Kosbad. The next year we decided that we should start early and try to find some good traditional variety of rice to grow. We had read about traditional varieties of rice and knew that they did not require very high inputs of fertilizers. These varieties were also quite strong and resisted pest. We were sure that if this was this type of rice, that would grow well in our farm, where we did not use any chemicals at all. Our previous year's experience and low yield had taught us a lesson, and we were sure we would not plant hybrids this year. So he was very early because the right time, he was at the right time where he needed to just find out a particular type of variety of rice, especially the traditional rice, which is only grown to a specific area. And he knew that the olden types of, or the traditional ones, which didn't have any type of adulteration in them, these varieties could really help him. And this particular variety of rice was also very strong and it could resist pest. So the olden crops, the crops which were before the hybrid qualities, they were really nice. So he started to find one of a particular type of crop which he could use in his organic farming, and he had already used one type and he failed last year. The yield wasn't yet much, so he thought that let's try to find something that is traditional. In April 2005, we started to look for a good variety of traditional rice. So in April 2005, they started to try to find a particular type of traditional. So the basic idea was to find a traditional rice. It was one of our neighbors in the village, a businessman from Mumbai who owned land, who suggested that we plant a local scented variety of rice. Most of the farmers in and around the village of Pate had switched over to hybrids. The younger generation of farmers thought I was crazy to ask for the Desi variety, as they called it. So a businessman who used to live in his neighborhood told him that you should try to find something of a scented variety of rice. So there are many types of variety of rice in the market today which allow a high yield, but they are not as good as the desi ones. Desi ones means the traditional ones. Okay, so someone just told him that why you try the desi variety, and many of the farmers were now used to the younger generations wanted higher yield. They were not interested in the quality, but in the quantity, and they found him very crazy. That what a crazy person he is. That when the world is going with the hybrids now, hybrids are those particular types of plants. So hybrids are those types of cross-breeded plants, means they try to take the genes of two different plants and mix them together to get a third type of plant which is more productive and which is resistant to best. So when the whole world is trying to use or using this crossbreed, why this particular person want a desi variety? My regular visits to the villages around searching for a good traditional variety also did not yield any result, and we were almost giving up hope. So thus the whole world, wide world, was using hybrids, and it became very difficult for him to find a desi variety. I decided to give it one last try and spoke to Baban's father and some other elders. After many meaningful conversations, they mentioned the name Kasbai. After different types of conversations and meetings, they finally found a name as Kasbai. Now, what is this Kasbai? Kasbai is a traditional long grained rice variety which has a distinct aroma, though much milder than Basmati. So, you can say Kasbai was the, what do you say, very distinct type of rice which is close to Basmati. Basmati is supposed to be the king of rices, the most tastiest, the most which has a different aroma, and it is very good in taste. So, after basmati, if anybody could buy, that is kasbai. It is a long duration crop, and most of the other older people remembered growing it years ago. But they all shook their heads when I asked them about the seeds and told me that it disappears. So whenever there is, this is seen in the history, that whenever a hybrid crop comes forward, most of the people, they leave their traditional crops. The same thing happened with kasbai. The people or the farmers had grown it many years ago, and nobody knew where the writer could find kasbai type of rice. The tales of kasbai made me us more determined to get it. We decided that if we did manage to get some seeds, this would be a great rice to grow. I thought the government may know something about it. So if people don't know, who knew it? So a person who is close to it, or somebody who sells it, or the government who runs different schemes related to agriculture, they might be knowing about this. A visit to the agricultural officer was enlightening. Enlightening means giving great knowledge and understanding. He had not even heard of this rice variety. So here the enlightening word is used in negative terms, where even the agricultural officer who was providing seeds and all the necessities to the farmers didn't knew about the rice. He had not even heard about the rice variety. He said the villagers were taking me for a ride and there was no rice by this name. He rattled off the names of a number of latest hybrids and even offered to give me some of them free of cost for a trial. Cursing myself for wasting time with him, I moved on to the next destination. So rattled means he talked very rapidly, and he told that maybe all the people around you, the generations, the old people are just taking you for a spin. Means they're just lying. They're just trying to mock you, making fun of you. You trying to grow a desi type of what is a crop. So I'll offer you better hybrids and even give you them free for a trial. If you get more yield of them, you can come back and get more. So he cursed himself. Means he was very angry on himself, and he left that particular place and moved to the next destination. So this time it was the Adivasi Mahamandal at Kasa, which buys rice from the Adivasi villages on behalf of the government. So this Adivasi Mahamandal is that organization which gives privileges to the Adivasi villages. These people live in the dense forest, and they buy different types of objects from them. So Adivasi Mahamandal also didn't hear anything about this particular rice. Kasbai did not figure in their files, a good indication why people didn't grow it anymore. The market itself didn't recognize the rice, so if you grew it, you would not be able to sell it. So Kasbai was maybe Kasbai was extinct, and because of that he started to get an indication that maybe the people figured out this, that a rice which people do not know, how could they sell it, and it would be a foolish thing to grow a rice which is almost extinct. However, the officer in charge here had more knowledge of the rice and did remember Kasbai being sold to him a few years ago. But the officer in charge of the Adivasi Mahamandal, he told that many years ago he had sold this kasbai to somebody. So when I and in Dhanwari, Baban and I started looking for Devu Handa and found a graying old man wearing a cap sitting outside his house on a charpai. Charpai means a small type of cot. Okay, so he started to find somebody else. So he in Dhaniwari's place, and Baban, his friend, he started to look out for something or somebody who could tell them about it. So finally they came to a person known as this Devu Handa, who was the ex-sarpanch of that village. He had acres of land, a huge house, and a large family. After exchanging the usual pleasantries, we came to the topic of Kasbai. So after greeting each other, talking about the topics of how and hello, they finally came to the topic of Kasbai. So after talking to Devu Handa about this particular rice, then mere mention of Kasbai and Devu Handa drifted into the past. Means they just mentioned the name of Kasbai and he started to dreaming about the past. He started them telling about stories of the past. His eyes turned dreamy and with the tremble in his voice he told us how the entire village at one time grew only Kasbai. So people used to grow Kasbai in that particular village and he knew about it and he started telling the stories. He said there was a time when people passing our village during lunchtime would be forced to stop and ask for a meal. So he said that the people used to stop in that particular village and ask for them to make a meal of kasbai for especially for them. Such was the alluring aroma of kasbai. Alluring means exciting, aroma, smell. So the smell of kasbai was so delicious, so tasty that people wanted to wait there. They wanted to go to people's house and they would request them to make some lunch especially made of kasbai. The entire area would have this heady aroma hanging in the air and all the houses cooked the same rice. Heady aroma means this aroma was so strong that everybody used to cook the same type of rice. Today he said no one grew kasbai and everyone had shifted to growing the new hybrid varieties, the stronger varieties, that better varieties than the kasbai. He explained that he had to force himself to eat this rice that was so insipid. Insipid means tasteless. Since the beginning, or when the people started to use the hybrids, the taste of their mouth started to change, and they wanted to eat different types of items. So they started feeling that kasbai is totally tasteless. With the advent of irrigation, farmers were tempted to grow a second crop, and kasbai, being a long duration rice, was replaced by the shorter duration hybrids so that the harvest could be done earlier. This ensured that the farmers could take up a second crop. So, initially in the olden times, the farmers used to grow only one particular crop, but with the advent of irrigation, that means with the advent means the arrival of irrigation. There was no irrigation means the farmers could use as much as water they could because new types of technology and methods were there. So they could just bring the water from the what is a rivers or the lakes to the canals, and all the water was available for them. So they could take the chance of growing a second crop. And kasbai was a crop that took a long time, maybe a year's time. So there were hybrid crops which could be which grew really very fast, even faster than kasbah, and people could grow two types of crops. So this ensured that the farmers could take up a second crop instead of growing one particular crop. Now a farmer could have the second type of crop. So we had seen that the writer was trying his day and night. He was putting all his efforts to find out about kasbai, the rice, the traditional rice which he wanted to put in his fields. And we had also seen how he met Devu Handa, the ex-sarpanch, who told him about kasbai. All his fond memories started to stream in, and how the people of that particular village used to grow kasbai. The rich aroma, the alluring aroma of kasbai used to bring the people there. They would make the people stand at their doors and they would tell these people to cook kasbai. So I asked why he had shifted if he was so unhappy with the hybrids. So Devu Handa was unhappy with the hybrid crops, but unfortunately all the farmers especially that resided in that particular village started taking hybrid crops and they started to leave kasbai, as kasbai took a long time. Kasbai was a rice which took an entire year to grow, but instead of kasbai the hybrids used to grow within a year. Means two hybrids could grow fast within a year. So people started taking the second crop and leaving kasbai. So no one forced him to, did they? So his question was, if you are not happy with this particular type of crop, why would anybody accept it? So did anybody force you? You were not happy, what happened? He smiled and replied that their fields did not have any fences, and once the harvest was over the cattle were released. So this could be the reason. He said that once everybody's harvest was over, they used to leave their cattle. Their cattle used to come out and start grazing into the fields. If my field alone has kasbai, it will be a treat for the cattle, he explained. Means if everybody is using the hybrids, means within 6 months, 7 months, their crops will grow, and finally they'll release the cattle to eat the living, what is it, remains of the plants whichever are there. But if his field had kasbah, which takes an entire year to grow, it will be almost complete, and the cattle will definitely deliciously eat it. So sometimes we have to fall in line with the community. He lamented means a passionate expression of grief. He was unhappy, but he said that I had to go with the community. Hybrids need more water, fertilizers and pesticides. So he started telling a number of things such as the hybrids needed more water, fertilizers and pesticides. He said that the yields were good initially, but of late had reduced a lot. So he started telling that the hybrids had something very powerful in them. That means it required a lot of water, it required a lot of fertilizers and pesticides. Unlike the traditional crops, which used only a number of, what is a limited number of pesticides and natural fertilizers, these hybrids ones were the opposite because they yielded a lot of more water. He said the yields means the finished crop used to be more in the beginning, but as time changed the quality started to decrease. He said that each year they had to increase the quantity of urea and pesticide they used. So urea is a particular type of chemical which is used to especially boost the growth and sometimes kill the insects. But urea, too much of urea is very bad for the soil because it somehow makes the soil barren. It takes away the power of the soil. So this use had increased by years. It was that the new hybrids had an insatiable appetite for chemicals. So appetite means hunger. So these types of these hybrids used to eat, or you could say that consume a lot of water, fertilizers and pesticides that was in excess, which was very bad for the crops as well as the soil. He told us that even when there was flash floods in the 60s, Kasbai had stood its ground. He fondly remembered how the rice was still standing when they all returned to the village after the floods had receded. So he said that during the 60s there were terrible floods in India. During that types of floods, only kasbai was the crop which was standing in its place while all hybrids had been washed up. So this was how strong the particular crop was. He fondly remembered how the rice was still standing when all returned to the village after the flood had receded. To recede means to move back, and the opposite of recede is proceed. Proceeding means to go forward, recede means to come back or move back or to withdraw. Such was the strength of the rice. But look what we have done, he rued. Rude means out of sorrow, he said. Now see what we have done. So everybody knows, including him, knows that they had done something wrong. They should not have left Kasbai, and now they have left Kasbai and they have nothing in their hand. As he went on reminiscing about the rice, we gently guided him back to the reason of our visit, the Kasbai seeds. Reminiscing means remembering a story about a past event. So he was remembering about his past, but they didn't have time. Our writer didn't have time, so he told that why he was there, he needed the kasbai seeds. He was sure that there was not a single villager in his area who would have the seeds of kasbai. According to him, the only people who still, so he knew somebody. He said that the only people who still grew it were the Adivasis in a hamlet at the foothills of the mountains in the next village, Asarwari. So he told about some Adivasi people who lived in a hamlet. Hamlet means a small group of villages, a very small group of villages or houses which live on the mountain. Next to the mountains there is a village known as Asarwari. We bid farewell to Devu Handa, who lovingly blessed us and said, Mahalakshmi, the local goddesses, will give you the seeds of Kasbai. So he also wished the same, and they proceeded. In Arsavari village, we asked the Sarpanch to help us as we were not very fluent with the local dialect. So they were not very fluent. Fluent means they were not accurate of using the local dialect. So what is a dialect? So dialect is a variety of language which is spoken in a particular region or community. So if you are living in Maharashtra, there are a number of ways a person can speak Marathi. The Marathi that is spoken especially in the parts of Satara or the parts of Mumbai, the parts of if you take English that is Polish that is spoken in America, British English, Australian English, number of ways where this particular language is spoken. So it is known as a dialect. He sent his assistant Jivan with us into the hills. After a half hour walk through thick vegetation, cross numerous streams and ditches, and scrambling over rocks and gravel, we reached the sleepy hamlet of Boripada. So ditches means here a trench. Trench means a deep opening, like mountain-like structure. Okay, so a particular assistant of Devu Handa was sent with them. That was Jivan, who could speak the local dialect. And when they reached a particular place known as the Boripada, there were just two ramshackle houses in front of us, and we wondered if this was the right place. Ramshackle means in a state of severe disrepair. Disrepair means the houses which cannot be repaired, almost which are about to fall. A wrinkled old woman sitting before one of the houses looked at us with curiosity. As we approached, we were signaled to Jivan to ask the crucial question. So there was an old woman, a wrinkled woman means she was very old, maybe because of her age. The face was full of wrinkles, means different types of folds on her face, which could actually tell her age. So she was looking at them with curiosity that why these people are here. As we approached her, we signaled to Jivan to ask the crucial question. So the crucial question was here, do you have kasbai, or do you know where we could get kasbai? She muttered in reply, and we looked at Jivan for a quick interpretation. Interpretation means explanation. So they looked at Jivan for interpretation. He broke into a smile and informed us that she did have the rice and wanted to know who we were and why we wanted it. So finally, the day came, the place came where our author finds his particular rice. And the question to him, that the question rattled her mind, was why did these people want that particular type of rice? It was a difficult task to keep a straight face, and I had to control a strong desire to hug her. So I found after searching for months, we had found the kasbai. It was difficult to find, catch, or achieve. It was impossible. Most of the people mocked him, or they made fun of him for finding such a type of rice which does not exist. We explained to her that we were from the pit nearby and we needed the seeds to grow. We asked for 10 kilograms of rice. She muttered and scowled. Jivan interpreted that she had never heard of pit and village, and also did not have a weighing scale. So there are some parts of India, especially some parts of Maharashtra, where these Adivasi people live, who have no contact with the outer world. And in the similar manner, she said that she doesn't know where is the pate, or what is the weighing scale, and what is 10 kilograms of rice. She had no idea. She was making feces, and Jivan was interpreting about it. So she was willing to give the seeds only in baskets. We asked for a single basket of rice, and Jivan told us to pay her something. So finally, when she gave a particular basket filled with this particular type of rice, or the grains of this rice, Jivan told that we should give her something. She was willing to give the seeds only in baskets, and I handed over a 100 rupee note. For the first time in the last 10 minutes, her face broke into a smile. She nodded her head in approval. That means when that it was a act of a way of what do you say, way of thanking her, handing over the money. And she broke into a smile, means there was smile on her face. She accepted the offer, and she took the money, and she gave away the rice. As we walked back against the fading sunset, leaving behind a smiling old lady, I couldn't help but wonder that here, nestling in the foothills of an unknown mountain, away from the hustle and bustle of the road or the city, were the real people of India. So he was thinking that who are these people, or what are these people? But these are the real people who are from the hustle and bustle of the crowded India. So away from the crowd were the real farmers who were living at the foothills of an unknown mountains, which is the place they don't know. So these are the real people, the real farmers of India. These were the people who still held on the rich biodiversity of our land, and no one even cared about them. So they were the people who still held on to the rich biodiversity of our land, and no one even cared about them. So these are the real people who were growing those crops or those types of grains which really existed in India. These particular crops were the specifications of India. They were the identity of India, and these people were those who really cared about them. Now the people they had never heard about hybrids, fertilizers, or pesticides. They didn't know what the fertilizers do, what are hybrids, and what are pesticides. They knew nothing about them. They just grew their rice and ate what they got. The old lady we met had probably never left Boripada. So these are those people who live in this particular area or the region where they satisfy their needs by growing what they require, not more than that. They do not go out, they don't know the hustle and bustle, nothing. Her world was unspoiled by progress, and for once I was grateful for that. Her world means the area where she lived. She was not the one who knew what is progress and what is the use of fertilizers and these pesticides and hybrids, which has destroyed most of the agriculture in India. So people need to do more of organic farming, and he said that he was happy that she didn't know about this progress, which is not a progress but a digress for farming, and for once I was very grateful for that. So here I end today's lecture. I hope you understood the entire lecture. If you have understood the lecture, subscribe to the channel, like and share to maximum people, so we could meet in the next chapter, or sorry, we could meet in the next lecture, where we shall be discussing about the vocabulary of this particular chapter, the summary of the entire chapter, and the brainstorming. So till then, goodbye, be safe, take care.